Okay, Ben, so I think it's time for you to tell us a secret about you.
Okay. One time when I was visiting home, my dear friend Kathy, who has left us, lent me her BMW. Well, I apparently parked it in a not-so-legal space, and it got towed. I
No.
went to the impound lot like 15 miles away. I paid whatever they wanted, and I somehow managed to get them to release the car to me, even though it wasn't mine. I paid the ticket. I returned the car to Kathy like nothing had ever happened.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
she never figured it out. She never knew, and I'm confessing now.
Wow.
Kathy, I am so sorry.
Whoa, you really made that happen.
She's got to be laughing up there, right?
Hi, my name is Kelley, and my secret is that my friends and I fled the scene of a horrific explosion. No one was ever brought to justice, and I cannot shake the image of that night or the guilt that I feel. Karma has definitely caught up with me and my family in the devastating ways, and I'm ready to talk.
Kelley's story of fire, karma, and the absence of justice could make you wonder what you would have done if you were in her shoes 10 years ago. Oh, so this has hung with you pretty strongly, even though so long has passed.
Yeah, and I really haven't talked about it. It's amazing because usually I talk about everything that happens to me.
You've managed to keep Mom on this one.
Apparently.
We'll talk about why.
Okay.
How old were you on the night of the event?
I was 20.
Kelley feels she bears some responsibility for what happened and fears karma has caught up with her. Outside of the people that were there, and we'll get into all that, how many people know about this?
I don't know how many witnesses there were, but there's at least 10 people involved in knowing who was involved and what happened.
You haven't told anybody in the intervening years?
No.
Amazing. It all went down on a hot summer night in a patch of desert in the middle of nowhere, Northern California.
But we also, in the back of our mind, knew, of course, something interesting was going to happen.
But when Kelley found herself immersed in an unfamiliar situation, she started to get a feeling.
I like to know who I'm with. Like, who are you? Where do you come from? Let me get a good feeling for you. Are you a fucking weirdo? Like, what's happening?
And when things start to go from bad to worse, Kelley finds herself in a no-win situation.
He started screaming, "I am not going back to jail. I am not going back to jail."
Oh, great.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die.
This is The Secret Room, a podcast about the stories no one ever tells. I'm Ben Ham. Hi, Kelley. Welcome to The Secret Room.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's really great to have you here. I was just astonished when I read your secret, and I got back to you pretty quickly.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Really wanted to get into this with you because it sounds like the night of this event 12 years ago has really had a huge impact on your life since then, and it's one that you just can't shake.
Yeah, I think it had a lot of impact on me that I didn't realize. Some secrets that you keep are hidden, and when you hide them from yourself, it burrows into you and it changes you in ways that you don't realize until you feel like you're ready to uncover them. And it feels like a confession or a mini revolution within yourself, and you feel like something has to happen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're here to unpack this and see what we can find.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we get to the night that is your secret, I think it's important to understand what was going on in your life at the time. Were you in school?
I was in school. Always been very serious about school. And I came from a troubled childhood, so I ended up having to go to community college for a long time before I was able to get a university education. I was studying everything that interested me. I was just trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. So I did a lot of sociology, a lot of art classes, a lot of science classes. I stayed away from math, which probably wasn't a good idea, but...
Right. What was the career that you wanted to have?
I really had no idea at the time, but I knew I really wanted to do something creative and profound, and I really wanted to inspire people. That's all I really knew at the time. And I was a very shy person, so I was just trying to choose things that would help me come out of my shell a little bit more and discover the world and people and help me, make an influence.
And where were you living?
I was living in San Francisco.
Tell me about that. Love San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco is great and terrible also.
I lived there for a couple of years.
I mean, beautiful city. I mean, picturesque. There's always somewhere to go that's just going to blow your mind no matter how often you visit that same place. And the history is amazing. And, the people are great. I've always gotten along with San Francisco. They can be kind of snobby, but, as long as you embrace that kind of snob,
You're good.
You're impenetrable. You can get through anything.
So tell me about your living situation.
So I was living in a house. It was a really terrible house. It was, 5 bedrooms, and there was like 12 people crammed into it. I mean, this was 12 years ago, and it's gotten worse since. It was infested with cockroaches. You turn on the lights and the walls move away from you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad. But, we were all really grateful to live there because we were artists and we were, trying to make it work, always struggling and paying rent in the most weirdest ways and trying to make it happen and going to school and,
Yeah, and you're in the city.
Trying to figure it out alone.
Yeah, so you were feeling empowered.
Mm-hmm.
You're out on your own for maybe the first time in your life?
Yes.
You're a young adult?
Very young, yeah.
Right. Making it happen. Tell me about the other people in your house.
There was a lot of artists. There was one person in particular I remember called Einar. He was a schizophrenic. I mean, this is just the kind of people that came through this house. I mean, the 2 years that I lived there, maybe like 50 people lived there. But like maybe Einar, he was schizophrenic and his parents paid his rent and we were kind to him because we wanted to support him but he would do really weird things like steal our teapots and grow mold in them for his experiments or sit in the bathtub with like a pile of tea bags with a rain jacket on. Like it was always interesting.
A challenge.
But I made the best friends in that house. I still have friends to this day that I visit on a daily basis. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you take part in the interviewing process when, you had to fill vacancies? Sounded like there was a lot of turnover there.
Actually, I was the one who took charge in that whole process. I was always the more responsible one of the group. If someone was going to live in our house, I felt like I was the one to decide if someone was going to be able to pay rent or not. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I mean, if you're living under the same roof, you want to make sure you're compatible. That
they don't have drug habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I understand it, there was a pivotal interview you had with someone.
Yeah, Roy. And I had an open house. So maybe like 30 people showed up, which was surprising. I mean, I made the ad look good on Craigslist, but when you get there,
How many people just turned away?
Not many. I mean, people are nice. They came in, they looked around, they nodded their heads and then they left.
Okay.
But I had a couple of really good people lined up that I thought were going to be reliable. And then Roy showed up a half an hour after the entire process was over. And he wasn't that clean and, he was kind of indifferent. And the fact that he was late is a big no-no for me because I'm one of those strange people that is always on time. Mm-hmm. And so, like, right away I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll do the courtesy of letting this guy in. Just, whatever. And then he says, oh, all I'm really looking for is enough space and outlets to put my sewing machines.
You like that?
Right then I was hooked because I love creative people. So I was like all in right in that moment. I'm like, yep, this is the guy. He's moving in.
Right. Cool. Okay. So he made it in. So what was he like, besides not punctual?
He was one of those, he's one of those people who just has that spark that you just want to be a part of. You meet this person and you just know something interesting is going to happen no matter what you're doing. And it's the kind of person you just want a piece of. So of course he had lots of friends and everything, but I was very adamant of trying to get to know this guy because I knew something amazing was going to happen every time that I spent time with him.
Like what kinds of things happened?
He was definitely a partier. So he introduced me to a lot of his friends. One in particular that is going to be an important part of the story, Mike, who I dated for 5 years. All these people he introduced me to were so interesting. Like, they were artists, and they had so many interesting perspectives on life and mortality, and just the way they lived their lives were so free. But they partied a lot. And I wasn't too keen on that. I'm the 9 o'clock bedtime type of person. But, I always try to try new things. So I hung out with him and his friends a lot. And they were definitely partiers. Some of the parties that they would take me to would be in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, where there's a scavenger hunt to get to the party. And you're walking through the woods and you think you're lost and you don't know where you are and it's pitch black and you didn't remember to bring a flashlight, and all of a sudden there's this man dressed up as a squirrel that comes out of the woodwork, and he's your spirit guide and he's taking you to the party. He's
Goodness
like, come on,
gracious.
guys, this way.
That's amazing. He was definitely pushing you out of your comfort zone, but it was kind of thrilling.
For sure. For sure.
That sounds exactly like the kind of thing you run into in San Francisco. Seriously.
If you're lucky.
So what happened at this party when you got there?
Well, it was an asymptotum party, so they're pretty famous, actually. It was basically just a rave in the middle of the Santa Cruz Mountains. Huge bonfire, tons of people. Some people on drugs, some people not on drugs. And we packed up the party in the morning. It was like nothing ever happened. And you walk uphill 2 miles in the sunlight, hungover, to get to your car, but it was all worth it.
Amazing. So those are the kinds of experiences that Roy brought into your life.
Yeah. I mean, just particularly that one experience, but there were so many. There's just so many.
And so you said he introduced you to Mike, who became your boyfriend?
Oh, yeah. I dated Mike for 5 years. Mike was great. I mean, very smart person. The very San Francisco techie Superman type. He was great. I really loved him. And we had a really great relationship.
Again, sort of dipping into your secret.
Yes.
Who was it in your life at this point that had the affinity for, smuggling Mexican fireworks?
Oh, that was Roy's brother.
Roy's brother. Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
How did you and Roy and Roy's brother get involved with illegal fireworks?
I never met Roy's brother.
Okay.
I only knew Roy's brother on word of mouth and the fact that Roy mentioned him right before he set off the firework.
Oh my gosh. All right. Looks like we're, getting into the night of your secret.
Okay.
And we're going to dig in here a little bit.
All right.
Coming up, the groundwork for Kelley's harrowing secret is laid when she and Mike take a road trip to a small Northern California city. When the secret room continues. The harrowing night that forever changed Kelley's outlook on life is soon born, but not before a constellation of ingredients, namely boredom, strangers, and an arid patch of desert, unite in perfect synchronicity. So, take me to that night. Where were you? What was going on? Was there a party?
Well, Roy was going through a hard time. This was 2 years after I met Roy. He had moved out of San Francisco and he moved to Tracy, where his father lived, in a trailer park. Roy was going through a difficult time. He was a little bit older than us. He was sort of like looking back on the last few years and realizing, I pretty much squandered my life on these drugs and, alcohol and just living vicariously. And, now I need to buckle down and figure things out because I actually want to do something with my life. And so he went back home. And Mike and we moved to Berkeley during this time, and we lived in this beautiful historical apartment, had 2 Murphy beds facing the sunset, and we really missed Roy. So we decided to go and take the Greyhound to visit him because neither one of us drove. We arrived in Tracy, and I mean, I don't know if you know anything about Tracy, but it is a desolate place. I mean, there's nothing but dry grass and strip malls everywhere. There's nothing there. There's just flat, dry grass everywhere. Just dry, hot, dry. I think it's north of Sacramento.
Okay.
I think. Yes.
All right.
Northeast.
I know the area.
Yes.
So you went to Tracy, and you found Roy.
Yeah, he was there, living with his dad.
Hanging out in the desert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really know what to expect. We took the Greyhound out there. We just really missed our friend. But we also, in the back of our mind, knew, of course, something interesting was going to happen.
Because something interesting always happens.
Something boring happens with Roy. Never boring,
Right.
But we've never really regretted anything that's ever happened.
Maybe not until that night.
Mm.
So you arrived, and how was the meeting when you caught up with him?
Oh, yeah, we met his dad. We met his family. We didn't really have any plans. We were just gonna hang out. I mean, it was kind of disappointing at first. We were just hanging out in this trailer with his dad, and
You're stuck in Tracy.
kind of smelly. I was just like, yeah, it's like, what the hell do we come up here for?
And was the trailer perhaps the most interesting place in town?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I was just like,
Okay.
we were like, are we going to hang out all night just watching TV with his dad on this couch in this trailer?
Did somebody make a move to get out of the trailer and find something else to do?
Yeah, his friend eventually called. His friend that we did not know called and said, oh, hey, there's this party tonight.
Of course.
I'm going to pick you up around 9 o'clock, and we're going to go to this party. And we're like, oh, great. Oh, good. Finally, something's going to happen.
Right.
Before his friend showed up, it got dark, and Roy said, oh, I'm going to take you in the backyard. I'm going to show you something. Yeah. So, oh, great. It's finally something interesting. So we go back to the backyard, and it's dark out by now. It's just turned dark. And this is a hot season, a little bit before 4th of July. It's like the beginning of July, maybe like July 1st.
So it's hot.
Oh, yeah. It's really hot, and it's always hot there. It's always hot. It's always dry.
Yeah, it could be close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Easy. But there's no mountains, so there's tons of breeze, too. So he lights off this miraculous firework. I mean, he got this firework from his brother, who just got back from Mexico, and he smuggled this firework in. And, I'm not really impressed by big sounding, bright, shining objects. The fireworks show is not my favorite part of the fair.
So he shot this thing up into the air, and it was huge.
Oh my gosh. It was the kind of thing that'll just pound in your chest. You feel it in your body.
Wow, it was like professional level.
It's like something that would go on the finale of a fireworks show.
Right. Okay. So it's professional grade stuff.
I live in a populated area where everyone shoots off fireworks in their backyard 4th of July. Everyone. I mean, it's like pop rocks. The dogs are hiding because bombs are going off in your neighborhood.
And had you ever seen anything like this?
I've never seen anything like this. It was huge.
Wow. Good thing you were in the middle of the desert.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, of course, I was really impressed. I was like, Ray, how did your brother smuggle this back? This is impressive.
Yeah, how did he get that back from Mexico?
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
I really have no idea.
All right. Anyway, it ended up there in Tracy, and you saw it explode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So he was pretty proud of himself after that, I bet.
I don't know. He's proud of everything he does. It's nonchalant. The next thing I remember, his friend shows up in his car. I think it's close to a Pontiac Trans Am. So it's a 2-door car, kind of like a shitty muscle car, show-off car. I'm not really familiar with cars.
You paint a good picture.
Yeah. It's a 2-door, so we have to climb into the back seat, and there's these bucket seats in the back.
It's more cool that way.
Oh yeah, it's real cool. I'm not impressed. I was more uncomfortable than impressed.
Can just see it.
It's like slippery in the back. So, yeah, we start driving on the freeway, and right away I get like this really odd feeling. Like, I'm one of those people that like to be introduced to people. Like, I like to know who I'm with. Like, who are you? Where do you come from? Let me get a good feeling for you. Are you a fucking weirdo? Like, what's happening? But I got nothing from these two, the driver and the passenger. And right away I get like this really odd feeling, but, I just let it go because, I'm supposed to be a part of adventure tonight. That's what's happening.
So in the car with you are Roy and Roy's two interesting friends and Mike.
Mike is with me, yeah.
Okay, so it's the five of you in this shitty muscle car.
Right. So Mike is next to me in the middle, and Roy is on the other side of me. So we're just like crammed into this back seat. And we must be driving on the freeway for maybe about 20 minutes. And then the front passenger, who hasn't been introduced to me, all I know is that she's a female, gets this call on her phone saying, "Oh, the party has been broken up by the cops." Oh, so we can't go to that party, obviously. Oh, shit. Like, what are we going to do now? And I'm thinking, oh, man, that must have been a really good party.
Of course. If it required police intervention, it must have been great.
Oh, man. I'd rather get into a party that's that exciting that's not getting broken up by the cops. So, at this point, she gets on the phone and she calls another car. I'm realizing I'm part of a caravan. There's a red Honda Civic full of 5 people that's following us from behind. And they're on their way to the same party. They're all connected. Same friends. Not my friends. Same friends of the driver. So they decide, oh, we're just going to pull off to the side and we're going to decide what we're going to do next. Naturally. So we pull into this parking lot. I mean, I can't see anything from the back of this car, so I'm just kind of clueless. And then the passenger and the driver both get out and they slam their doors and leave us in the car. Rude. Rude.
Are you feeling nervous at all?
I am feeling very nervous, but still at the same time, like, I'm kind of expecting this kind of behavior, and it's also kind of exciting, like, oh, okay. I mean, nothing bad has really happened yet. These people are just rude. I'm used to rude people, like, whatever.
Roy is still in the back seat with you and Mike, right?
Yeah. And we aren't really talking to each other. We're actually pretty silent.
You guys are hostages.
I don't know about that, but we're just like choosing to be whatever, sedated, whatever.
You're going along with the herd.
Yeah, so we're in the back of the seats, and everything's pretty quiet for a couple of minutes, and then Roy, I can't see him because it's so awkward to like look over in this tiny vehicle to have a conversation, but I hear him say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna go set off that firework in that field over there." And I distinctly remember immediately saying, "Oh, Roy, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should do that."
Why did you think it was a bad idea?
I don't know. I just thought it was just not a good idea. Like, why now? Why not later? But I really couldn't see anything, so I didn't really know my surroundings.
And what was the point? I mean, you're just like on the side of the road somewhere in nowhere.
Yeah, what's the point? Why now?
And so did you even know that he was like carrying another one of these, professional grade?
I didn't know that, actually. I did not know he brought it with us. This is the first time I've heard of it, yeah.
He's just packing these Mexican fireworks.
Right. So I say, no, of course not. No, I don't think you should do that. Pretty casually, actually. Okay. Which I regret because later on I'm thinking, why didn't I say that more firmly? But, and then Mike next to me, he just says immediately after, "Hey, man, yeah, you should do that."
Oh, great. Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So Roy jumps out of the vehicle.
That is all he needed.
Yeah, it's really all he needed.
Right.
Acknowledgement. Anyway. And by the time Mike crawls out of this thing and I crawl out of this thing, he's already halfway down the field getting ready to light this thing.
Wow, he loves it.
Yeah, my guard is down. I'm like, I just watched this thing go off successfully like 2 hours ago, so I'm just like, sure. I'm sure what's going to happen. This thing's going to go off like I expected it to go off before.
Right. Making me nervous. What could possibly go wrong? Find out after the break. Think about the challenges you're facing right now. Do you need some help? If so, BetterHelp is here for you, and it's so easy to get started and to use. You can manage your own counseling, couples counseling, or teenage counseling, all from your Android or from your iPhone. And you can use the app to communicate with your BetterHelp counselor in a safe and private environment. Forget the stress of traveling to an office, parking, and then waiting. Just find your own private space and connect. If you prefer to video chat, text, or just to call, they've got all that too. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/secret. You can get help from one of 3,000 licensed counselors to help you reach your goals or your personal needs in your own time. BetterHelp licensed professional counselors offer a broad range of support for things like depression, anxiety, sleeping troubles, or anything else going on in your life. And it's all right there at your fingertips. It's affordable too, and financial aid is available for those who qualify. And as a Secret Room listener, you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/secret. Fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and to get matched with a counselor. Start communicating in under 24 hours. That's betterhelp.com/secret for 10% off your first month. While Roy's running down the field with a professional-grade illegal Mexican firework under his arm, Kelley's sitting in the back of a stranger's car without a care in the world, but she's starting to take stock of her surroundings. And it's not looking great.
So we get out of the car, and this is the first time I get a real understanding of my surroundings. I'm in a parking lot. I see that we are in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing for miles, and it is pitch black everywhere, except for the freeway, which we are facing.
Was there a lot of traffic?
There was a lot of traffic. Yeah, that was illuminating the freeway. Those flashing lights of the freeway. That's all I really saw as I was looking out into the field between the parking lot and Roy. So we're in front of the car, and we're in the parking spot, and we're in a huge, vast parking lot.
What's it a parking lot for?
It's a parking lot for a gas station. There's a gas station to the right of me, like a half a city block down. I don't remember what brand this gas station is, other than it was green, and it had like a Quickie Mart. There was a rest area, so there was obviously nothing for miles. This is a place that people stopped because there was nowhere else to go. And there was this adjacent parking lot which we were parked at, which was illuminated by streetlights, which actually made the whole experience so much more surreal as it was happening, because when you have direct street lamps like above you, you feel like you're on stage.
I can see it.
And to the left of me, maybe 4 parking spaces down, his friends were parked in that red Honda Civic. And there were 7 of them, including the driver and front passenger of my car, having a very intense conversation about what to do next. You know, obviously, like, what party to go to, you know, but they're not paying attention at all. And Mike and I are standing there, not really too worried, and we're watching Roy out there trying to light this firework. This rocket. We're just watching him light this thing, and then there's a slight breeze, so he's having a lot of trouble. But eventually, he gets it. It lights, it catches, it starts. It's going. He steps back. As he's stepping back, he looks over his left shoulder, and he calls to his friends, "Hey guys, watch this!" Which utterly is ironic now that I think about it, because it's kind of like that moment of, "Hey guys, hold my beer." Oh guys, watch this horrific thing happen. But in the moment it was just like, "Hey guys, watch this." And so his friends all look over, and it catches. The rocket starts. It's going to do its thing. And then this slight breeze rolls by. The rest happens in slow motion. It's like this rocket gently falls over. It's like it's being put to sleep. And immediately afterwards, this instant fire of flame erupts out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
Immediately, the entire landscape lights up. I saw it rip through the field, and it was an instant moment of doom. But there's yards of fire. I felt... I don't know what I felt in that moment. I just was shocked. Like I'd never seen anything like that. It was unbelievable. It was something that I would imagine it in a movie scenario.
How tall were the flames?
Oh, maybe like 5 feet? I mean, it was so much.
And it filled up the field.
Yeah, I mean, I was standing there in shock, and I remember hearing screams to my left from his friends. I look to my left, and I see this gas station, and there's just this acknowledgement in my mind. That gas station's not going to be there tomorrow. That's gone. That's gone. That's gone. That's not going to be there tomorrow.
The fire was that bad.
Oh my gosh, it was huge. It was amazingly huge. And then Ray, he took off his jacket and started trying to bat out the flames with his jacket. And it just looked so ridiculous. I mean, his friends was screaming, Ray, no, don't do that. And it just looked like an ant getting into a fight with a gorilla. It was just...
that hopeless.
It was amazingly comical. I was not laughing.
Of course.
I was not laughing. I didn't feel anything. I was just in shock. I was just like, how is this possible? Like, this is not happening.
I mean, you all must have been horrified. I mean, just overcome with horror.
Horror? I don't know. I mean, I know what horror feels like when I didn't feel anything in that moment.
You were numb.
It was strange. It happened so fast. I didn't feel anything other than nothing. I didn't feel anything, to be quite honest.
Wow.
And that's really odd because I feel like I'm in a person that's really in touch with their emotions and stuff, but in that moment I didn't feel anything.
Well, maybe it's survival mode kicking in, you know?
Yeah.
What did everybody do?
Mike was next to me, and he was just as frozen as I was. He was maybe even more frozen. He was just like a statue. And then I look to my left, and I see the skinny white guy with spiked hair and baggy pants, obviously a raver, running towards his car. He is the driver of the vehicle that I came in with. I don't know, this moment came into my mind where I was just like, I do not want to be left here in this situation. I do not want to burn to death, and I do not want to be left here in a place that I do not know where I am. So I grab Mike, and we somehow dive into the back of this vehicle. I mean, I would have literally punched somebody to get in the back of the vehicle.
He was going to leave you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there was no way. I mean, he was in the same fight or flight, like, panic than I was.
Right.
Like, he was going to get in his car and go. He didn't care who was getting in that car or not. Somehow we dive into the back of this car, and, you know, we don't even bother to be putting on our seatbelts. We're just, like, glad to be in this contraption that's going to get us out of the situation. And we're pulling out, and we're going forward, and I look out this tiny window, and I just see maybe like a dozen people from the gas station start running towards their cars. And, you know, it's you know, you never really see that. You just never really see like a stampede of people just running towards something.
Everybody was running for their lives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they understood the severity of the situation.
The gas station is potentially combustible.
Oh, my God.
It could blow up.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, it's obviously full of gas, and there's nothing else around except dry grass and a wind blowing in that direction. So they were smart. That's what I would have done. And then I see out the front window that there is a semi pulling out of the gas station and purposely blocking, because there's no other way that a vehicle would put themselves in this position, to block the entrance of the freeway.
Why was that?
It was very apparent all of a sudden that they were trying to stop us from getting away. They didn't want us to escape.
They knew it was you guys that started the fire.
I can't see their mind. Like, I can't really see their perspective, but obviously that was the situation, because I'm pretty sure some of those people running toward those cars were coming after us. And that person in the semi was blocking the freeway to stop us from escaping.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow. The guy who's driving the car, what does he do?
Oh my gosh. I mean, to this guy's credit, he was motivated.
Right.
He started screaming, "I am not going back to jail. I am not going back to jail."
Great.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. I don't know this person. I don't know any of these people. I'm going to die. This is the moment. I'm going to die.
What happens to this cast of characters and our heroine when the secret room continues? The getaway car hurtles away from the fire set ablaze by Roy, and the fate that awaits Kelley, Mike, Roy, the raver, and the female passenger who was never properly introduced could surprise you.
So he drives off the side of the road to avoid hitting the semi and to get on the freeway. And this is not an off-roading vehicle, so it's very bumpy and it is very scary. And he could possibly get stuck and we could just get caught that way.
Right.
But somehow he makes it. And this is the point. It's very surreal in my mind, but I feel like this is a very intimate detail. This is the point that I realize the entire inside of the car is illuminated with blue lights.
Okay. What's that?
I don't know. This guy's an obvious raver.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why this moment sticks in my mind, but the entire car is illuminated in blue lights.
Okay. That's weird.
It is weird. I've never seen it since.
Okay.
But he's able to, like, go around this semi and get on the freeway. And at this point, he is hightailing it. He's going like 85. He's dodging all these cars. And I'm getting tossed around in the back. Mike and I are getting tossed around in the back like a couple of rag dolls. And at this point, I'm just thinking, this is it. I'm going to die. This is it. I'm going to die.
Oh my God. What was Mike doing?
He was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear a peep from him. He didn't say nothing.
Holding on for dear life.
Yeah, he was always the quiet one.
And where's Roy at this point?
I have no idea. I as far as I know, he's still back there trying to battle the flames with his jacket.
Oh my God. Okay, right. So you guys are barreling down the freeway now, getting tossed around on those bucket seats in the back. Your lives are in the hands of this raver who does not want to go back to jail. Mike is quiet. Is the other female passenger in there with you too? Or is it just the three of you?
Yes, she's there. I don't hear a peep from her either.
All right. So you guys are all clinging on for dear life. And where is the raver headed? Like, where is high ground for him?
I have no idea. We're just, eventually he starts slowing down and blending into traffic. And we get a call from the other car. From the woman passenger in the front seat. She gets a call from the other car. And she gets on the phone. She's like, oh my gosh, they're all in the car. They're all okay. We're all going to meet. We're all going to meet at this random apartment complex. And we're all going to make sure everyone's accounted for.
Okay.
So we all meet there. Again, no introductions. No one introduces us. Very rude.
Yeah. Very. Extremely. Especially after you've been through this, bonding moment together.
I know. You think we would have some sort of like, hi, how are you? I'm this person.
Right.
Yeah, nothing.
So what happened at this strategic meeting? Did you try to get your stories together or, what went down?
We just pretty much said, oh, yeah, we're never going to talk about this ever again. We're never going to mention it. We're never going to think about it. This is going to be the last moment we ever think or talk about this. And we all agreed on it. And I was so terrified. Of course, I agreed. I didn't want to think about this. This is terrible.
Wow, it's gripping. And so I guess you all felt pretty certain you'd gotten away scot-free.
Yeah.
Was there any other strategy that was laid out, or did you just take off?
There was no other strategy except for what party were you going to go to next?
Of course. I mean, you've got to keep your eye on the ball, right? Priorities.
Oh my gosh.
I would have gone home at this point.
Roy was very traumatized. He would not talk about it. I mean, it was obvious that he was just horrified.
Okay.
Horrified.
Was he horrified enough to just head back to the trailer home, or was he ready to go? Was he up for a party?
I mean, the worst thing you could do is go back to your trailer park home and think about what you've done, right?
All right. So off to another party to forget what just happened.
Of course. So we ended up going to this party, house party. It's just a bunch of drunk people doing drunk things. And Mike, who I was dating, he really had an alcohol problem, so he got really drunk. So my job, of course, always in this situation, was to make sure that he didn't drink too much, which of course he always did. And I had to make sure he didn't do anything like, bust windshields for fun and make sure we got home okay. And that's what we did until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Then you rolled back to the trailer home?
Yeah, and then we went back to the trailer home. Yeah. And then the next day we just wandered around town. And then on Sunday, we took our bus back. But we went to the bus station and we waited for a bus for half an hour, and then 2 hours pass. And then people are sleeping on benches. I mean, this is an outdoor bus station. It's very uncomfortable. It's hot. People are annoyed. There's maybe like 24 people waiting for our bus. And 5 hours later, the bus finally shows up. And the bus driver comes out, and he is so apologetic. He comes out immediately, and he's like, "Oh, I am so sorry, you guys. There's a giant fire on the freeway. That's why I'm late. I am super sorry, you guys." And Mike and I are totally silent. We don't even acknowledge to each other the situation out loud.
Well, you'd sworn never to talk about it again.
Oh, yeah. We swore never to talk about it. I mean, seriously, we swore never to talk about it.
Wow. So you didn't say to the driver, "Oh, yeah, we know about that."
Oh, yeah, we're a part of that. We know what's happening. No. Mm-mm. For all I know, it wasn't the same fire, because I never fucking, looked up the situation. I don't know. I really don't know.
So, Kelley, while you were waiting at the bus stop, hour after hour after hour, was there any part of you that was looking over your shoulder, kind of wondering if, the authorities were maybe onto you or looking for you?
No.
Really? You were?
Never.
Okay.
No, never. Why would I?
I don't know. Maybe there's some video surveillance or...
No. I mean, there was no video surveillance in this parking lot. I mean... It was an adjacent parking lot, and there was nothing there. Nothing.
So you knew you'd never be held accountable for this?
No, never.
So did you get on the bus at that point?
I got on the bus. It was it was a surreal moment, because Mike and I were both on the bus in our seats, and the entire bus was full of people calling their friends and family, talking about this fire, and telling them why they're late. And Mike and I are just looking at each other like, we are not talking out loud ever about the situation. We don't know if that's the same fire. We're not even going to question it. We're not even going to think about it. That's not going to happen. And the weirdest thing happened. I mean, for me, it is the weirdest thing because I overthink everything. I didn't think anything about the situation. I literally put it in the back of my mind. I put it in a box. I put it in a closet. I closed the door, and I did not think about it ever.
You just blocked it out.
I blocked it out. I didn't look at it. I didn't go on the internet. I didn't look up what happened until maybe recently after I submitted my interview and you said you want to interview me. I went on Google Maps to see if the gas station was still there, and I can't find it. I don't know.
No kidding. So in the 12 years in between, you really haven't given this a thought. You just shut it out.
I really haven't thought about it at all.
So what was it that kind of, brought it to the surface where you said, yeah, I think I'll contact the secret room about it?
Well, there was a series of events. So I've had a lot of families have a really big impact from the California wildfires recently. The Rodeo Park fire. My grandparents and my uncle both lost their houses.
Oh, it's terrible.
It was a beautiful house. She was an artist. She had a huge studio full of artwork and a sound engineer who had a multi-million-dollar equipment and a steel house which melted. I mean, this area, the fire burnt through their area at, I think they were saying 2 football fields every 4 minutes. I mean, it was incredible how fast. I mean, there were so many deaths. People couldn't even get out of their garages. But thankfully, my family, they were with us camping in Grass Valley at that time. So,
oh my God, how fortunate. I mean, that may have saved their lives.
I know, it did, because you know what? They would have not gotten out in time. They really wouldn't have. You know, they're the type of people that would try to save their stuff. I mean, they're very sentimental people. And then, a year later, Paradise Fire on my father's side. My stepmother's, I'm part of a modern family, so I have a lot of family.
Okay.
Yeah, my stepmother's father and grandmother, they lost their house, and my aunts and my great-grandmother lost their houses in the fire in Paradise.
Terrible.
Right. You know, it really tipped me over the edge to think that maybe there's a fire monkey on my back, that maybe I need to confess. You know, not that I believe in karma, but I don't not believe in karma. My paternal grandparents' house in Pennsylvania got struck by lightning and burnt just 2 weeks before I submitted my secret to you.
Did the house burn to the ground?
It nearly burned to the ground, and you know what? That house was precious because it was built by my great-grandfather out of the wood that my great-great-grandfather built his house out of on that land.
Oh my gosh, how sad.
Oh my gosh, that was very sentimental to me.
Yeah, very sentimental. So many members of your extended family have lost their houses due to fire.
Right.
Have they all managed to rebuild and they have new homes? They're okay?
They're in the process. It's a very slow process. Got to deal with insurance companies and you know, you got to clean out the area. It's a very slow, agonizing process. You know, it's not easy.
Was there also an apartment building that burned down?
Oh my gosh, yes. So the apartment building that Mike and I lived in, the beautiful apartment building, the historical apartment building with the 2 Murphy beds, it was built in 1906. It was in Berkeley, and it was built during the San Francisco earthquakes. So it was supposed to be an office building, but they decided to retrofit it to make it into a live-in apartment building to accommodate the San Francisco earthquake victims. So it's a very unique building. It was a very unique building. It had a lot of storage, like built-in apartments, and tons of Murphy beds. And I had the best apartment in that building, and that building burned to the ground maybe 6 months after this incident happened.
And what strikes me is that there's so much fire burning down homes in your life. You didn't even remember that one in our conversation.
Oh my gosh. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Yeah. I think it's just important to maybe just to tell a tale of like the kind of situation that can happen that seems so trivial in the moment. And so playful, and so, you know, fun. You know, like setting off a firework in your backyard. This is great. Fun. But just be aware. Be aware of your situation, your surroundings. And, you know, take a stand. Fucking take a stand. If it doesn't feel right, say or do something. Like, don't just stand there and watch it happen.
I imagine, looking back on this story, you feel like there are several moments where you could have said something that would have altered the course of events that night.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I really regret a lot.
Yeah.
I really regret a lot of things.
Of course, it wasn't your fault. It was Roy.
Yeah, stupid Roy.
Yeah, but you feel complicit in a way because you didn't take any action to head this off.
Oh.
Is that right?
I mean, we're all victims in every circumstance, right? I mean, even Roy or Mike.
How's Roy a victim?
Oh, he was stupid. Stupidity is his own victimization. Oh.
A victim of his own stupidity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all are. We're all stupid and doing our stupid things, and we're not even thinking about things. We're just going with the flow and assuming that the best will happen. You know, Ben, fire follows me.
Has this relationship with fire that you have in your life caused any reevaluation for you in life? Caused you to look at things differently?
I look at everything as different now. I don't look at anything the same. Everything is destructible. Everything is temporary. Everything is trivial. My gosh, that's an intense question, Ben. That's an intense question.
It's really caused you to take stock.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's safe to say that you're more aware of things, you're more careful about things, you try to make smart decisions, you don't take things for granted.
That's true, I don't take anything for granted.
You try to be careful with the world around you.
That's true, I've definitely spoke up every time I feel like something's not right. I mean, I've talked somebody out of climbing out a 4-story window.
Oh my gosh, tell me about that.
I was looking at the same apartment building, maybe like a couple weeks after the fire. And, there's this frat boy, new to college, climbing out this window trying to get to this girl. And I see him climbing out, and I'm like, oh, there's no way he's going to make it down this window. He's going to fall. He's going to fall 4 stories. He's going to break his legs. So I lean out my window, and I yell at him. I yell the only thing I can think of. What would your mother say? Get back up in that window. What would your mother say right now?
Good for you.
And you know what? He climbed right back up into that window.
Good for you. That's great.
Yeah.
This event may have actually caused some good in your life. It's caused you potentially to save a life.
I feel like I have more voice. Even if it's exploratory, like, oh, let's have a conversation about this before we decide to do something,
Well, that's awesome.
Take the temperature.
You may very well have headed off a number of bad situations just as a result of that one night.
I hope so.
Which is a positive thing.
I really hope so.
And hopefully your story empowers other people to be proactive and to take a stand in situations where things just don't feel right.
Yeah. And that's all I really wanted, was to help people think a little harder about their situation, what they're doing, an incremental level. Just think about your world and the impact that you have on this world, and the potential influence that you can have. You can change your surroundings. You can change the situation. All you have to do is speak up.
Well, I know I'm going to internalize your story and carry that forward.
Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely. And I'm sure others will too. If Kelley had taken a moment to be the adult in the room, she might have been able to alter the course of events that night. Maybe. But the silver lining is that it's been a valuable lesson learned, which has likely paid dividends to her and to others. Nevertheless, the central role devastating fire has played in her life has given her cause for serious reflection about that night, 10 years ago. So much so that Kelley had this postscript to add.
Hi Ben, I just wanted to share with you one more detail of the story that I forgot to include. I told you about the most recent fire that destroyed my grandparents' house, the house that my great-grandfather had built. That was no ordinary fire. That house was actually struck by lightning in the top bedroom just before bedtime. I keep thinking about my poor grandparents, my grandmother who has suffered 2 debilitating strokes, standing outside in the dark during a storm watching their house, the house where my grandfather and my father partially grew up in, burn away. Again, I'm not one to believe in karma or divine intervention, but if there is such a thing, I would think that the most effective form of communication for retribution would be through a lightning strike. Thanks again for letting me get this off my chest.
And if you'd like to see Kelley, Roy, and Mike, their faces obscured, check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our handle is @SecretRoomPod. There's also a picture of Kelley's perfect little apartment that burned down just days after she moved out. The sunlight in that living room was phenomenal. I want to thank Secret Room listener Ashley for helping out with today's Street Secret to open the show, and for jumping in on our native ad today. That was fun, Ashley.
Yes, Ben, all my podcast dreams are fulfilled.
All our sponsor codes, including those for Native and BetterHelp, are at secretroompod.com. Click on codes. And by the way, sponsors are awesome. They make all of this possible. Support them using our codes if you're so inclined. The podcast team this week: Susie Lark, Elkid, Sachel Brooks, and Alessandro Nigro. Music and theme by Breakmaster Cylinder, whose name always autocorrects as Breakfast Cylinder in my scripts, but we know that's not his name. And Chet is the sound engineer. Do you have a succulent secret to share? Head over to secretroompod.com.